Welcome to Sauti Zetu, where our voices can be heard, our opinions shared, and our views discussed.
Today, we will touch on social media and the technology that goes with it. So, a general definition of social media, it's a collective of online communication channels dedicated to community-based input, interaction, and content sharing and collaboration. So, among the different types of social media, we have Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, Pinterest, among others. Now, initially, it was seen as a smart, easy way of communicating. However, times have changed, and in this day and age, people go up there and post positive and negative things. And our bosses, coaches, teachers all have access to this information. And we have to know that anything that goes online or even on our phones is there to stay. So even the FBI and CIA can get to it.
So ladies, what social media do you use?
Oh gosh.
What do you have on your phone? Let's start there.
Oh, okay. I have Facebook, I have Twitter, I have Instagram, and recently I just joined Pinterest, which is so exciting. I love Pinterest. You, Esther?
I don't have Facebook on my phone. I'm anti that.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't want to be on Facebook on my phone ever. Like I quit that like honestly at the beginning of this year. But I do have Twitter. I love Twitter. I need more than 300 followers, so people follow me.
I'm at 101.
Do you guys have contests? I remember when Facebook first started, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but me and a friend of mine had contests to see who would have the largest number of followers.
Yeah.
And it was just so ridiculous. I'm like, she friended all my family. I'm like, really?
Yeah, there was a time where everybody went through that craze. I also went through
When it
that
was
craze.
new.
Yeah.
When it was very
In
new.
the late 90s, early 2000s. When did I get on Facebook?
What?
2007. What are you talking about?
2007.
When did you get on Facebook?
Like in 2004.
Oh my
I have
God.
like quite
The-
4 or 5. Oh, I said I
2007.
got it. Oh, 5 or 6.
Okay.
I was there like
Were you
I was
thinking
on
of
the beginning.
MySpace or Hi-Fi?
Oh yeah,
High five.
You know
You
what?
see, it was
Maybe
high
that's what it is. I was on
five.
High Five, then I
Yeah,
went to MySpace.
I didn't do
FA, so,
MySpace.
you know,
yeah.
5. You
Yeah.
were not on my Five?
Hi-Five. I did
My
Hi-Five.
MySpace?
No MySpace. No
No,
MySpace.
MySpace was more of I think it was just way too open. Like anybody
Yeah.
did it have
But I think
any
it was more for like
privacy?
musicians. Or
Yeah,
anyone on
much,
MySpace than
Yeah,
anything.
they would share
But
their
anyhow,
music.
Twitter, and then there's Instagram. I'm on Instagram as well.
Aren't you on Foursquare?
I'm on Foursquare.
Which
Yes,
one-
that's also
which one
social
is
media.
Foursquare?
Foursquare is like you check in. Well, you check in like everywhere you go. You check in. Like right now, I'll be checking in at the Sauti Zetu studios. But but I don't do that I don't check in every time, to
Right.
be honest. I'm not that on it, but I'm a social media person. I really am. I embrace it. I
She
love
is.
it.
She taught us how to use Twitter because we were clueless. It was
I'm still
so horrible.
clueless.
But I use what I use. I use Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest is like so amazing. But there's a
haven't
problem
heard of
with that because as a photographer, people are having issues with people taking their work and
Mimicking
maybe
or
yeah, copyright.
Okay.
Yeah.
copyright
Oh, okay.
issues.
Copyright issues. So there's that aspect of having such social media sites out there.
Yeah.
No problem with that. But let's go into politics. How do you guys think that social media has changed politics today or to date?
I think it has had a huge impact. I mean, let's just think, what is it, 2011, Arab Springs? Social media between Facebook and Twitter really helped spring those movements. They had places where they could collaborate online,
Right.
just fuel the whole movement, tell people where to meet, what to do,
Exactly.
posters to make, all this good stuff. So it's been huge in that aspect. President Obama, I think the statistics show like he had maybe a few million followers in 2011, but recently he's like 20 plus million followers. So it's been huge. If you look at Africa, Kenya, every politician is now on Facebook.
But that's also, so is it Facebook mostly used or Twitter? Because I think like the hashtag phenomenon has really taken overboard with Occupy Wall Street, Occupy
Yes.
Parliament, and all these things.
Twitter is actually more used as far like think about during the Democratic and Republican convention, you saw the hashtags going on, oh, Obama said this, and people
Yeah.
get, and then you look at the negative views or comments that people put on Twitter, fine, that's their opinion, but then it also fuels a lot of hate
Yes.
Right.
at the same time,
Right.
and changes people's views on an individual, just based on the number of hashtags, like
Yes.
hashtag this, that just, it keeps that drive moving. It's very aggressive.
Yes, actually,
So-
I'm glad you said that, especially with the hate part of it. And we just got done with our elections in, just what?
In March.
In March.
Yeah.
Right, in March. the social media was really good. You know, it helped people put their word out there, their campaigns and everything. But then you could see so much tribalism on social media.
Yes.
People just being very like outright, straight up attacking other people. It's behind the phone, behind social media.
Yeah.
Who's gonna, you know, nobody's actually gonna see you and tell you something. So it's like, it's passive aggressive kind of thing.
That's true.
But it was huge. It was bad. Like it got to a point where it's like Facebook wars and all this crazy stuff going on.
And speaking of it, how people now feel this hate is because you're behind the scenes. Nobody knows who you are.
Yeah.
So nobody can
Yeah.
come and say, I know you're the one who said it. Unless they know how you write, what you say, there may be one or two individuals who know exactly who said it.
Yeah.
But it's a mirror for people to hide and voice their negative
Some
opinions.
people hide and some people are out there.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Robert Alai.
And then it's
True.
Tumbi. Those two are like, to
Those
me,
are now
they're just
Kenyan
amazing. They're Kenyan
bloggers.
bloggers. I think they actually have like, one, Robert Alai, I think is more of a techie, on the techie side of the industry thing. And then Itumbi has like a blog. I think he writes for some paper. Honestly, I tried to Google these people up and learn about them. I just found all this. I could not find any solid stuff about them. So that kind of says a lot. But then there's this big case right now where Dennis Itumbi has sued Alai for defamation, you know, for stuff he said over the past. And I think Robert Alai has been arrested about 9 times because of stuff he says on Twitter.
Wow.
But you have to see, they both have over 50K followers on Twitter. So they're
That's-
very loud and out there. So what are they doing, you know? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it...
Again, it's just the message that they point across. That's their opinion. People may like their opinion, and then it stirs up a conversation as well. Whatever he puts in is now it now starts a conversation with everybody else on Twitter.
Yes.
People respond to it and hashtag or retweet.
Retweet.
And
Or
he's
quote
spreading
that tweet.
information, whether good or bad,
Good and
depends
bad.
on the viewer or the person who's partaking in the conversation. But I think that some people need to kind of watch what they say, because this is like, the information is disseminated over a vast majority of people. I mean, it's like
The
all
world
of
is
the
global.
world is global.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful about what you say and put out there.
So with that said, then where does the law come in? You know, and that brings up Justin, this young boy, 19 years old, from Texas, San Antonio, I believe, and he's facing up to 8 years in prison for something he said on Facebook. Actually, I'm not going to quote it, he said on Facebook, but it was really, it's something he said about shooting and eating kindergarten kids' hearts, like right after the Newtown shooting of like 20-something kids
Right.
who were killed. So he's facing, you know, they're saying that terroristic threats, and he's facing up to 8 years in prison.
How old is he again?
19.
Okay, now
So, and it was, I think it all came from a game, Legends, some online game. So, the law, where does the law come in, you know?
see with that aspect, and you know, look at the timing. You had Newtown, and then you have you know, this kid. Well, he's not a kid; he's an adult now because
He's
he's
an adult.
19.
He's an adult.
Posting that, you can't take that as a joke. You
Yeah.
know, you can't, because you can't run that risk where it already happened.
Freedom of speech.
You know, there's freedom of speech, but then you have to be
It's a fine
careful.
line.
You have to be careful
Yeah.
what you say out there now. I mean, the world has changed.
Yeah.
People have just gone cuckoo. So you can't trust anybody. Yeah, I can, you know, say something and then people take it like, oh, okay, she might have been joking, but
And again,
we have to question her, you know, because you just never know.
yeah.
How was the information found out, though?
So this lady in Canada saw it on Facebook. It was posted right there on Facebook. He wrote that horrible message on Facebook. And then apparently the dad claims that there was an LOL and J/K, like to show he was joking. And some are saying he was being sarcastic. I don't see the joke or the sarcasm in that.
Of eating
And I don't think
kindergarten
LOL
kids.
should be
Yeah,
enough to
that's-
say that
yeah.
I'm
Follow
joking.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this lady from Canada saw it and turned it into the authorities, who then followed him and arrested him. And you know, that's where we are now. He's facing up to eight years.
I'm just
It is
thinking,
found
and this was in
guilty.
Texas. I'm thinking if it was another state, maybe he'll get a lesser charge.
Yeah, or I think it's also like a lesson to all, with all the shootings that's been happening. I think they want to make an example out of him.
That's true. 8 years. 8 years
8
for
years is
just
a little much.
for 8 years for putting that out there, because for little things, people have been thrown in jail for like 20 years.
Yes.
But wow.
Okay, so with that said, you are a businesswoman, you have your photography business, and you use social media.
Yes.
Let's talk about that aspect of it.
Social media is very important, I believe, for businesses, all types of businesses, not photography or whatever else you do, because of branding and SEO. I use Facebook and Twitter for putting my information out there, for, like I said, branding, and gathering a fan base, because people won't know who you're about. I can't say, oh, I'm a photographer, and there's nothing out there. I'm like, oh, can you take a look at my pictures right here? I can put my pictures out there on Facebook, and people can take a look, see.
Yeah. And I've also seen, like, you know, I was looking for a washer and dryer, and I went through Craigslist, and there was this business. Okay, I wasn't sure, you know, I was going to buy it online, you know, just go with it because I didn't feel like driving out just to go look for a washer and dryer. So they actually had a Facebook page. And what I noticed is that the people that they delivered to, and some of them didn't even see what the washer and dryer looked like. They were just by lack. And you saw all their comments and reviews on Facebook. So I was like, okay, that's a way to promote your business, you know. Facebook is awesome. I mean, these are real individuals who were there and have said, you know, they were great, the service was awesome, it broke down, they came back 30 days later, or, you know, when I called them, they were there.
Right.
You know, so that's a good way to promote your business. And comments, reviews, hey, that matters to an individual who's trying to purchase something.
That's true. That is so true. See, I'm a PR girl, so it's all about branding and what you put out there. And that can be both ends, you know. There's the part where you can use all the social media to brand yourself and say all these positive, good things about your company. But then, you know, when things also start going south or you say something, people will kind of get you on social media as well, you know. Whether it's just, they will destroy your business overnight on social media.
That's true.
You know. And as much as, you know, PR is here to help you, you know, and sometimes the power of social media is just amazing.
So are you careful with what you put on Facebook and Twitter? Because employees are very quick to look at your Facebook accounts and your Twitter accounts for what you have out there. Like if you put a derogatory comment on Twitter, they can research that and they're like, oh, okay, she had great skills, excellent references, but no, she said XYZ.
Okay, when you say your employee looks into your employer looks into your Twitter or Facebook, but don't they have to request for that information, or do they just go behind your back and
no,
go
they'll
look?
Google up your name and boom.
But what if
Facebook page is up, and then last weekend she was out there saying what?
What if I have a different name? I don't have, like, you know, my.
That's why we're supposed to be smart about it. You know, you don't want to be found so easily. You know, and even then, I mean, maybe there's someone. I don't think it's that hard to find you on social media, even if you use a pseudonym, really, unless you're like.
I think you can.
You can.
Right now, like Facebook, you cannot find me on Facebook unless you friend me or we're friends.
Yeah, even my privacy settings are pretty high. You know, my LinkedIn, I keep it open because the point of it is to put myself. But I keep it very business. If I'm posting an article, it's going to be about the industry I like or I'm interested in. Very simple. I mean, and even with that said, even though my privacy settings on Facebook are very high, I still won't go out there and just rant about anything. You know, just because I care about my.
There are people who do
people put a photo of me taking like 7 shots. You know, or something crazy like that, or, you know, a cake stand.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
I mean, not you being held upside down.
I
know,
you know, right?
That's going.
So
she's running for president.
President? Wait a minute. And actually, with that said, there's the social aspect of social media. Let's look at that, and that brings on this. I think it's a very sad thing that happened here in Dallas, over Memorial Weekend, where. Apparently, well, there's a video circulating, and that's how I found out about it. But during the holiday, somebody from out of town came to Dallas to celebrate the holiday as we do. I guess with a lot of alcohol involved. They ended up recording a video. Let's just say it's very sexual in nature, explicit, extremely, and even the tools that are used. I don't know how to describe it without putting it out there.
You've already put it out there.
A bottle was used.
Yes. So, you know, it's sexual and there's a bottle involved. So you go figure. I'm sure most people have seen this video, but basically it was actually on Facebook. One of the, let's say the more loud people in Dallas posted this video on Facebook, and people commented on it, and then the video just kind of went viral.
It was probably,
until I got the video not too long ago, which I actually had to request for it because I had no idea about this. Somebody in Florida had actually sent it to one of my other friends. Yes.
Really?
So this video is everywhere about this poor child. Now, it's sad. Let me just start there. I think it's just a sad thing altogether. If you watch that video, I'm sure your heart just broke for this whole situation. Now, let's analyze the situation.
It broke.
Go ahead.
The sad thing, first of all, is like, I'm thinking like the people who are involved are the ones who who sent the video out to different people. So that's somebody's friend or friend.
Who is your friend, first of
Exactly.
all? You know,
So let's
if
talk about the
you're there.
technology. We all have our little smartphones. You can record
Yes.
something without somebody seeing it.
It's a good
or
thing
knowing.
and it's dangerous at the same
Yeah.
time.
Like, I don't know if this girl knew she was being recorded, and this could be like anything you're doing out there. You're out there drinking, and maybe you start acting a fool.
Esther.
Somebody can be recording anything, anywhere.
First of all, there are people around you and you're still doing that. It doesn't matter, you know.
No,
either
I'm
way.
guessing she was drunk at this point.
yeah.
That's for
Oh.
sure. So she didn't. I don't think she necessarily knew what was going on. In that video, you can see somebody's just like on the low recording it. You know, because first of all, they're very slick with it. They don't record anybody else but the poor
Yeah.
girl.
Right.
It's-
Now, the people in that room, what is going on in their heads? I don't know. I mean, how it began, how it got to where it is, I don't know.
Assume that they were under the influence of alcohol. However, that being said, I think that this was kind of premeditated because you can't go into something not thinking. I mean, all the people there kind of wanted it. That's my belief.
It seemed very, like they were all just chiming in and everything.
Yeah.
But then look at this poor girl. I don't know. At this point, I'm just thinking she's a victim. I don't know. That's just my point of view. Because I think she was drunk, which kind of puts her in a more vulnerable position. Than the person who could videotape the whole thing with catching her face and, you know, but nobody else's face. So I think she was probably a little bit more gaunt than most people in that room. With that said, though, this is going to live forever online.
Right.
Yeah.
It's going to live forever on our WhatsApps. Even though I deleted that mess, I'm pretty sure it can be found
can be
somehow.
found.
It can be found somewhere.
And-
it's in
and just-
somebody's email as well, you
Yes.
know. And it's very sad that it ended up that way, and that's what defamation of character.
Defamation of
Yeah.
character,
That's what it
Maybe
is. I
she's
mean,
got some legal redress if she wanted
if
to
you
go
want to
down
take
that
this
road.
legally, you can. But
The
Hey.
sad, okay, the plus side, I'm thinking, now that we
Well,
put
she
it
There's a
out
plus
there,
side to
There's
this?
a plus side because this was in the Kenyan community, right? So
yeah.
it hasn't leaked out to the rest of
we
the
don't
We
know
don't
that.
know. You don't
That's
know
an
that.
assumption for right
Yeah.
now. But the
Yeah.
fact that it went to Florida, it's what's the date today?
But when you say
July?
it's in the Kenyan community, we have friends who are in the
we
Kenyan
have
community.
friends, but it started off in the Kenyan community. I mean, the person who sent it to you most probably was
Kenyan.
Kenyan, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I had to ask because I was going to talk about it. I was like, hey, so yeah, you know about this? Send it to me. But if it's gone all the way from Florida, and this is what we're like 2 months behind on this news apparently, I'm pretty sure it's got into some other people's hands. I don't think it's just solely in the
Yeah.
Kenyan community, especially with the fact that all you have to do is hit forward. Oh, you want to see it? Oh, my best friend is an American. Oh, let me forward it to you. I'm not going to show it to you. I'm going to forward it to you. So I'm pretty sure it's not contained. I don't think it's contained. Nothing on this is contained.
Yeah.
That's true.
There's no plus side. I don't see a plus side to this, other than you can use that as evidence in the court of law and get some kind of
I have a
justice.
question outside of that. Now, you know, setting aside the whole video thing, how do you feel? And this was an argument I got into with a friend. Okay, posting pictures of your child, you know, on Facebook. How do you feel about that? Because
I think it's okay. I think
how much
there's a
can you
limit.
do? How? Because you know we have crazy characters out there. You
You
know,
mean like naked or something?
not naked, but you know, just pictures of your family. You can only do so much with the people who just go way like this is the life
Not-
story.
Forget families.
But
It's
just-
just people. I mean, how many people put selfies out there? Like,
Yeah,
oh,
what
I'm
about
doing
just
this.
yourself in
Oh,
like
just
your
like-
bra?
Cool.
So yeah, when you
Yeah.
talk, okay, when it comes to pictures, it's simple. Of course, you wanna. The whole idea is you're proud of something.
Yeah.
Right? I'm proud of giving back to this beautiful child. I want to show the world
Yeah.
what I have, which is fine. Post a few pictures here and there. Now, am I saying you go in there taking a shower and post a picture of them, or I'm washing them, which they're out there?
Yeah.
That's a bit too much. But if it's a
That's a bit of a
birthday
funny-
photo, a few photos,
Yeah.
and some funny ones, it's okay. Just be careful with it, and even for yourself. You know the ones like by the mirror. I've seen the ones like
Oh
even
my
on
gosh,
Instagram.
yeah.
Selfies.
Yeah.
out there.
Selfie,
Like,
yeah. Click.
And what's up
in
with
my
with the
underwear.
new look?
I don't get it.
That's the selfie pose.
I don't get it. I don't care for it. I don't get it. It's like, even my Instagram, you'll probably find like 1 or 2 photos of myself out of like my 30 or 40 photos, which ain't that many. But I don't have photos of my face every single shot because my Instagram is like to kind of share other things I see.
Show your face.
Not my face,
It depends
but
on your goals.
she got a lot of
on
her
your-
face on there, so that's what she's making fun of.
So you do selfies.
She
right?
does.
I do. But not
Are
like
you addicted? Because when you talk about people putting their whole business out there,
Mm-hmm.
are they addicted to Facebook or Twitter? Do you think people get to that stage?
okay. Let me talk about myself because in 2007 when I joined Facebook, every time I'll be out, I'll take pictures. Within 2 hours if I've come from the club or whatever, they'll be uploaded. Like what happened that night. I mean, I was
You were young.
addicted. I was. I mean, yeah, I was
Young
young at the
age.
time. But I think I do love taking pictures. I have a ton of pictures. But I think with Facebook, when the uploading became so slow, like it takes longer to upload pictures, at least when you have a whole album of pics. For me, I just stopped. I got lazy.
So
Then I
that's-
just
that's
lost
uploading-
interest.
that's
Yeah.
uploading of pictures.
Yeah.
But on a daily basis, when do you turn on your phone and look at
What's the
Facebook?
first thing you
What's
look at?
the first thing you do when you look at your phone? Don't you go, like most people, like when you wake up, let me see what's happening on Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Twitter.
So I don't have Facebook on my phone, but
So-
I do Twitter.
So isn't that some form of addiction?
It is.
It is like just know what's
Technology
going
to
on.
this. We're
Yeah.
addicted to this.
It's entertainment.
We're addicted. There's some crazy stats out there. I don't have a number,
You-
but
you know,
people sleep with
status
their phones,
updates.
and the first thing they do is wake up and turn their phone on.
The first thing they turn on is, you know, they look at Facebook or Twitter, you know.
Yeah.
But for me, Twitter has become entertaining in the sense of news, what's happening
Right,
out there.
that's true.
You
That's
know,
so. You learn
actually,
so
I'm
much.
I'm now viewing Twitter more than Facebook because, you know, Facebook can be just so, it's just a downer because, like, oh, this is,
And raves.
yeah, people just go on a rampage, you know.
I mean, well, anyway, all in all, you know, whether it's the political aspect that we talked about today or the social media, the social part of it, whether it's photos of your kids, your family, you, or whether it's the business aspect of it. Let's just, I think that the big takeaway is what you put out there is out there and it's going to stay out there. You know, you can always learn from Facebook and Twitter and social media, or it can just be the worst thing that ever happens to you, depending on what you put out there. So with that said, thank you so much for joining us. Please find us on Facebook, Twitter, on all the social media sites that we're talking
Instagram.
about. Are we
We'll
we're
open
not
an
on-
account.
We're gonna get
Sauti
there.
Zetu Instagram.
Yes, and comment on our YouTube page. Just give us your views and opinions on the topics that we discussed today. Thank you.
All right.